Hello Idlers, this is your Colonel speaking, and today I'm doing a special episode for my mate Athrogate. Where are you, Athrogate? Let's see. He's on my friends list here, so where are you, Athro? There you are, there's Athrogate. So today's edition of the Colonel Speaks is dedicated to Athrogate. So there you go, mate. And today, he wanted me to do a video, and I thought I've been thinking about this for a while, just doing a sort of a review, I guess, of all the new artifacts. And this does tie into this week's events as well, so we're going to try to make it relevant. But anyway, if you notice here, I do have my new my guild just barely got our lovely golden and amethyst border here, avatar frame, I guess. And so, and as you see, it goes perfectly with my avatar, my Ruyi avatar, and yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. I have been going frameless for a while, so yeah, I have been going frameless for a while, as you may have noticed on my last few videos, because nothing really goes really well with Ruyi except for this. And so I'm pretty excited about my new avatar. Anyway, my new avatar frame, I should say. But anyway, let's get to the artifacts here, because I haven't really touched on any of the new artifacts, and ever since the Ormus's workshop came out. And let's see, what are we doing here? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so, and of course, Ormus's workshop is going for the rest of this week. So, so I thought I'd look at the new artifacts here and just sort of give a little review on each one. So first up, we have the Demon Bell, which gives you attack, HP, and energy. And with the new upgrades that you can get in the Ormus's workshop, whenever the hero releases the active skill, they have a 100% chance to increase all allies 20 points of energy, which is really cool. So the new Demon Bell, I guess, basically, it ups your hero's energy, but it also helps him up the rest of your team's energy as well. So that's pretty cool. So basically, the Demon Bell, the Splendid Demon Bell, I should say, just kind of touches the whole team, rather than that just that hero. So that's a pretty cool artifact, pretty good idea, I think. As far as the theory, and of course I haven't tested it out at all, but in theory that's a pretty cool way to extend the Demon Bell's influence to your entire team. So pretty cool artifact. Next up we have the Antlers cane, and the Antlers cane gives you precision, attack, and skill damage. And I don't really know how precision works exactly. I know precision helps you get through block, for example, but it also increases the damage you do somewhat. So you're getting increased attack and increased precision, which both translate to more damage, as well as the skill damage on top of that. So pretty nice artifact for boosting damage. It's definitely an offensive artifact. And the Blessing of the Wild gives it, says when a round ends, increase all damage dealt by the hero by 6%. And this type, I'm not so much in favor of this type of boost, which, the Antlers cane is already fairly offensive, and so this just basically increases the offensive potential of the cane. And so I don't think it really adds a different dimension at all to the cane. when you make it glorious or splendid or sorry, glittery or splendid or whatever. So I don't really love the upgraded Antlers cane. I mean, granted, you're going to do more damage, but the cane's already making you do more damage, so it's just a little more on top of that, and I don't really love that. In contrast, I do like artifacts like the Kiss of Ghost here. That's basically, it's also a very offensive artifact, but the new added ability, Bloody Plunder, basically is a defensive ability. So it restores HP. So I like that better because basically I don't know. I guess I prefer an offensive artifact to maybe have a defensive ability, so that it rounds it out a little more. So I prefer the Kiss of Ghost upgraded to the upgraded Antlers cane in this case. So the Kiss of Ghost gives you attack, armor break, and HP. So I guess it's already slightly defensive because it gives you HP, but it boosts your attack and your armor break, and is a really nice offensive artifact. But when you upgrade it, you get Bloody Plunder, which can heal which heals your hero as well. So you got offense and defense all in this, wrapped up in a nice package here. So I really do like the upgraded Kiss of Ghost. And I'm not so hot on the Antlers, the upgraded Antlers cane. So moving on, Punisher Staff. Again, this is similar to the Antlers cane. The Punisher Staff is already a very offensive artifact, giving you attack, crit, and crit damage. And so God's Power, the upgrade, basically when the hero crits, deal an extra damage by 12% of the target's max HP. Damage caps at 1500% of the hero's attack. So basically it's just more offense on top of offense. Again, I don't really, I don't prefer that. Of course, it's nice to have, if you just want a purely offensive artifact, then, that's great. Then go ahead. But like I said, I prefer, like the Kiss of Ghost, for example, where you have both offense and defense. So moving on to the Magic Stone Sword. So yeah, the Antlers Cane and Punisher Staff of the Immortal are they're just one-note artifacts, basically, which, again, what they do very well, but they're not very well rounded. The Magic Stone Sword gives you attack, damage reduction, and control immunity. So it's already a very nicely balanced artifact. You're getting attack, and then a couple of nice defensive abilities there. Soul Guardian makes the single damage received not exceed 30% of the hero's max HP. So that's basically just adding to the already defensive capabilities of the artifact. And so, and in this case, I don't mind that so much because the sword also gives you attack. So it just, it gives you a little bit of attack as well as a lot of defense. And so I would probably take the Magic Stone Sword over the Antlers Cane or the Punisher Staff. Next up, we have a really interesting artifact. This is the Augustus Magic Ball, and the AMB is also a very balanced artifact. It gives you attack as well as speed and block, and speed can be offensive and defensive. I wouldn't say it's either one. Block obviously is defensive and attack is obviously offensive. So Augustus Magic Ball is very balanced to begin with. And the enchanted shield basically just blows the roof off of the defensive capabilities. And honestly, block isn't that great of an ability all on its own. There are certain heroes that do benefit more from block, such as Horus, for example, Shia and King Barton. So this would benefit those. Unfortunately, those types of heroes aren't really in the meta at the moment. So so 50% block. It helps obviously on defense, but it really isn't that amazing. So I like that the Augustus Magic Ball has this additional defensive ability, which is a really, really nice defense actually. So I believe, I'm told even at Glittery, which is the first stage of upgrade for this artifact, it's still really, really powerful. And so the AMB is really, really nice. It basically reduces the damage received by, I believe at Glittery it's 150%, and then it goes up to 200%, and then 250% for Splendid for the final stage of upgrading. And it's a really, really nice artifact. I'd like to get my hands on it. Basically, I currently use my AMB on my Drake, and on Drake especially a glittery or above AMB would be amazing, because Drake has a lot of attack, and basically with that ability, if you look at his attack stat is going to translate into damage reduction as well. So basically every time he gets hit, he gets for the first stage for 150%, he's going to take basically what is it? It's 150% of his attack is basically around 200,000. It's a little over 200,000 damage. So every time he's attacked, he's going to take 200,000 less attack every time. That's really, really nice. And of course, especially on Drake as well, he's got his dodge ability, 60% hide into the void, right? So that just straight up dodges an attack. If they get through that, then the 50% block kicks in for the AMB, and then where were we? And then if they get through the block, and then whatever damage gets through the block, then you're also gonna reduce that damage by by 150%, 200%, or 250% of your hero's attack. So AMB is a really, really nice defensive artifact, but it also gives you a little bit of attack as well and speed. So it's just a really good all-around artifact. And we discussed the Kiss of Ghost. Again, a really nice offensive artifact, but when you upgrade it, it's going to give you some nice defensive abilities as well. So very nice artifact there. The Lucky Candy Bar has always been kind of probably the least useful of all the artifacts. It does give you attack and HP, which is nice, but the stun immunity was kind of hit and miss. It was much more useful back when Valentino and Cruz and some of these other heroes were in general use. Stun there aren't a lot of highly meta heroes right now that do stun, and so this quickly fell off as a useful artifact. But now I think this ability is really, really nice. The Control of Destiny for the Lucky Candy Bar, as far as making it relevant again, because basically it grants. So the first control effect that hits your hero that has this equipped, the very first control effect is going to be countered basically, and then that control effect cannot affect your hero for the rest of the game. So that's really, really nice. So basically, Lucky Candy Bar is going to give you immunity to pretty much any control effect in the game. Of course, with the caveat that it only affects a single one of those, the first one that hits you during that battle. So I think that's really nice. It's gone really far towards making the Lucky Candy Bar relevant again, because now it works against any type of CC basically. The first type of CC that hits you is going to be countered, and then then you're good for the rest of the game. Now they've also put Hand of Fate on this artifact. Well, I guess the control effect, it counters the control effect, and then gives you Hand of Fate for 1 round, which is basically all damage, 20% all damage reduce, which is great. So a very nice addition to this Lucky Candy Bar, and I do think it makes it usable again. So I really like that. So I would probably rank Lucky Candy Bar of the ones we've discussed already. I'd probably rank it below, just below Demon Bell, AMB, and Kiss of Ghost, and then I'd probably put Antlers Cane. Well, now I'd probably rank Demon Bell, AMB, and Kiss of Ghost up on the top tier, and then Lucky Candy Bar and the Magic Stone Sword on the next tier, and then Antlers Cane and Punisher Staff would go on the 3rd tier down, just because, like I said, they're one-note kind of artifacts. They're not as versatile as the rest of the artifacts that we've discussed. Next up we have the Wildfire Torch, and the Wildfire Torch was similar to the Lucky Candy Bar in that it sort of fell off fairly quickly. It came out when Valkyrie was a thing, and she was a problem for a lot of people, and so obviously this helps against Valkyrie, but she quickly fell out of the meta after this artifact was released, and so it sort of lost a lot of its shine. But it also gives you precision and HP. Precision again is an offensive ability, and HP is defensive, obviously. But but it doesn't give you as much precision as the Antlers Cane, obviously, and 18% HP is a little bit below the HP. Well, I guess no, because a Ghost only gives you 14%, doesn't it? So so does Demon Bell. Okay, interesting. So it does give you a little more HP. But anyway, so reducing damage over time, just right now damage over time isn't a big deal in PvP generally. Shield in Flame is the upgraded ability for the Wildfire Torch, and it converts 80% of damage from active skills or basic skills into damage over time. So basically, it's kind of cool how they upgraded the Wildfire Torch, because basically they took its ability, which is not really that useful, and basically makes it its main ability, I should say, and makes it useful again. So Basically, instead of taking all the damage all at once from active or basic skills, it turns it into damage over time, which so you're only going to take a little bit of damage from that attack over time, and then of course the torch reduces that damage by 70%. So it just it was a pretty clever twist what they did with the Wildfire torch. Again, I don't know if it entirely redeems this artifact, but it definitely goes a long way towards making it better. And of course, so basically it just splits. If you get hit with an active or a basic attack, it splits it into four parts. So basically you take a quarter of the damage, and then a quarter of the damage next turn, quarter of the damage the turn after that, and a quarter of the damage the turn after that. And so, and of course you're reducing that by 70% over each of those rounds as well. So it is nice. It is a really nice defensive artifact, and of course you can get a Wildfire torch during this event. So if we go to the Kishi special event here, if you do both of these Magpie Bridge, the Reflection Bridge and the Magpie Bridge, and get all four of those heroes, you're also going to get yourself a Wildfire torch. So that's pretty cool, and especially if you already have a Wildfire torch, then you can get it, make it glittery or splendid or whatever. But anyway, so that's pretty nice. And next up, so I guess I would put Wildfire torch. I'd probably put it still on probably the lowest tier of all of these artifacts. I'd still put it below Antlers Cane and the Punisher staff. So lastly, we have probably two of the most powerful artifacts right now, namely because they pump up two of the most meta heroes at the moment, Russell and Sherlock. So first of all, the Golden Crown gives attack, HP, and all damage reduce. An amazing artifact, great on defense and offense. But, mostly defense, but it gives you a little bit of attack as well, which is great. And Deterrence of Majesty, when the battle starts, increases the hero 50% of all damage reduced, which will decrease by 10% each round. So it makes it that much better of an artifact. It already has all damage reduce, but this just pushes it way over the top. So basically, on round 1, you're going to have 75% all damage reduce, and then and then for the rest of the match, it will go down, 65%, 55%, 45%, etc. For the rest of the match. And so obviously, that just really makes your unit just basically nearly unkillable. But yeah, I really like this artifact, and it's really good on now. I did say that Punisher Staff and Antlers Cane were one note artifacts, and Golden Crown really is to some degree as well, but I think the defensive capabilities are better. I'd rather have a defensive artifact like this on a powerful hero than just something that just pumps up offense. Because basically, if we look at this type of artifact on Russell, for example, right now a lot of people will, a lot of people like myself that don't have a crown will run an energy artifact on Russell. I have a magic source. Some richer players might have a demon bell on Russell, but that that's kind of a budget move, I guess. because it makes him really really it makes him a gamble, basically, because you're giving him a lot of energy to get his active skill off quickly, which is great if it works. But if the enemy carry hits your Russell first, then it basically kills your Russell. I mean, so you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket here. You're kind of banking on your Russell getting that active skill off, and if he does, that's great. It can win you the game. If he doesn't, if carry gets to him first, then basically you're screwed. So it's really a 50-50 type of move to go with an energy Russell. What the crown allows you to do is, it just basically, it's going to protect your Russell for the first couple of rounds. It does mean it's going to take a little while for him to heat up, but the crown basically just lets him soak damage, up until he can use his active skill, and then of course, and it'll probably ensure that he gets his active skill off as well, and basically what that does is it makes him less of a liability. It makes him more solid, because he's going to get his active skill off eventually. It's going to delay it for one round, but he's still going to get that active skill off, and in the meantime he's protected, and then if he does get his energy up and maybe carry hits him, it's not going to kill him, because he's got that crown to protect him as well. So it just is, the crown is a much nicer way to go with Russell, but of course that's expensive. And so a lot of players like me will use the energy artifacts. So that's the great thing about the crown, and the upgraded crown just makes it, over the top, even better. And of course, you can get a crown in the events this week as well, which is pretty cool. So in Olivia's shop, if you get 3,600 shishi biscuits, you can get yourself a crown. And of course, you're only going to get 2,500 normally as a free-to-play player, but if you have crystals, you can use those to get your crown. There's also this Shishi special event package here, Blessing of Magpies, which can also get you, give you another 400 biscuits to get over the top there. So a lot of players are considering picking up that crown this week, and it's not a bad idea, especially if you have a Russell. So lastly, let's see, what's the last artifact we need to discuss here? Oh yeah, it's the Ruyi scepter. So Ruyi scepter is an amazing artifact on Sherlock specifically, just because he's a great meta hero right now, and he benefits so much from the speed and the control precision. So basically, the speed makes sure he can get his active skill off first, and the control precision makes sure that his CC goes off as well. So if you can get your Russell, not your Russell, if you can get your Sherlock to attack first, and turn someone into a dove on round 1, that's really, really nice for your team. It gives a nice handicap to your opponent. And the Eye of Insights offsets the target 30% of control immune, so it just increases that control, it gives you control immunity, so you're not being controlled, rather you are controlling the other team. So Ruyi Scepter is an incredibly nice artifact, but again, it's really only useful. It has really limited usefulness. So I imagine when Sherlock, for example, eventually falls out of the meta, I'm not sure this artifact is really going to maintain its usefulness. It's really only useful right now because of Sherlock. So because of that, I would probably place the Ruyi scepter on par with the Lucky Candy Bar and the Demon Bell as far as usefulness. Is that what I... Anyway, and Crown, of course, I think is going to be on its own level. It's definitely the A tier artifact, or S tier, I guess some people like to call it. S tier artifact. A tier would be your A and B, Kiss of Ghost, and maybe Demon Bell. Next tier would be the Wildfire Torch. Lucky Candy Bar. No, sorry. Next tier would be the Magic Stone Sword, Lucky Candy Bar, and Wildfire Torch, along with the Ruyi Scepter. So anyway, I hope that that was useful for you. If it wasn't, leave me a comment in the comments below, and let me know what you think about all of the new artifacts. All of the new artifacts that can be upgraded here in the Ormus's Workshop event. Anyway, everybody, good luck out there. You know, if you want to go for it, pick up that crown this week. Pick up maybe a Wildfire Torch, and hit the Ormus's Workshop for your for all of your artifact needs. And I am your Colonel signing off. Remember, as always, that karma can be a real bitch, but she can reward you nicely from time to time, so be nice to her. Everybody, I will see you all in the next video, probably on Thursday for the new events, and I am your Colonel signing off. Goodbye.